Hit it, Phil.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Can it be the breeze that fills the trees with rare and magic perfume? Oh, no, it isn't the breeze. It's Jackson time. La-da-da-da.
Stay tuned.
Right after this episode.
For our discussion.
From Television City in Hollywood, the Jack Benny program with his special guest, George Gobel. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, this is a very important election year, and people all over the country are campaigning. Even our own little star is busily engaged in local politics.
Oh, say, boys.
Wait a minute, Rochester. I want to change one word in the first paragraph of my speech here.
Well, that makes about the 10th time you've changed that thing.
Well, certainly. This is probably the most important speech I'll ever make. After all, I'm running for president of the Beverly Hills Beavers Club. How's the sign coming on, the campaign sign?
Oh, pretty good. Say, let me ask you something.
Yeah?
How come you're making so much importance out of this campaign? After all, the Beverly Hills Beavers are only kids.
Only kids? Rochester, that's no way to look at it. I mean, these children are the future of our country. And believe me, it's a great satisfaction to see some youngster that I've guided that'll grow up to be a fine citizen.
Oh, by the way, you got a letter from one of those youngsters this morning.
Which one?
Bernard Baruch.
Oh, yes, little Bernie. Loves pigeons. Well, I better go over this speech right away so I learn it and memorize it.
I'll get it.
Mr. President, fellow Beavers.
Hello, Rochester.
Well, come on in, Everett. Mr. Benny, here's your campaign manager.
Oh, come on in. Yeah, I see you brought your kid brother with you, huh?
Yeah, you know, Jimmy was thinking of voting for Skinny Miller.
No. What?
But I got him to promise to vote for you.
Well, good. Every vote counts. Here you are, Jimmy. Here, have a lollipop.
See? I told you he was a great guy.
Big deal. Skinny Miller gave me 2 lollipops.
And you're not voting for Skinny, so forget it. Don't worry about Jimmy. He's with us.
Good. Say, how's the campaign coming along?
Everything's set. I wrote vote for Benny on every sidewalk in town.
Oh, good.
And here's some more campaign material.
Fine.
And I went by the Beavers clubhouse and put your picture right on the center of the wall.
Did you glue it on good?
I didn't have to. 5 minutes after I hung it up, there was 40 darts in it.
Darts?
I felt like Brian Donlevy on a dangerous assignment.
This looks pretty good. Hey, tell me, Everett, do you really believe that I'll win this election?
Mr. Benny, as far as I'm concerned, you're the next president of the Beverly Hills Beavers.
Gee, I hope so. You know, if I win, I'm going to give it everything I've got. Because I firmly believe that Woodrow Wilson was right when he says, a public office is a public trust.
No, that was Grover Cleveland.
Cleveland? Oh, that's right. It was Wilson. Woodrow Wilson said, walk softly, but carry a big stick. I remember that.
That was Teddy Roosevelt.
Well, who said, give me liberty or give me death?
Patrick Henry said that.
Well? Don't you got a line? What?
Your line.
My line? What's my line?
Let's not fight about this thing, boys.
Oh, I have the line. What are you nervous about? You're younger than I am. Now, look, let's not fight about that. I have enough hard work to do as it is.
Do I have to vote for him? He doesn't know anything.
I'm getting a little leery. If you think you're working hard,
Yeah?
you should actually the kid that's running for the old job of treasurer.
You mean Alvin?
Yeah, he's been going over his speech for days.
No.
Friends and fellow Beavers, if I am elected treasurer of this club, I will collect all the dues every week and keep track of all the money spent. Are you listening, Uncle George?
To every word. All right, Alvin. Continue.
I will collect all the dues every week and keep track of all the money spent. And even though Billy Smith is better at arithmetic than I am, I would probably work harder. And in that way, I think I would make a good treasurer for this club. How does that sound, Uncle George?
Alvin, that is probably the most sincere, straightforward, and honest speech that I have ever heard.
Really?
Really, and I'm ashamed of you. Boy, this is politics. You got to lie a little bit, boy. Lie.
Uncle George, what do you know about politics?
Why, our family has been in it for generations. Like, take your great-great-granddaddy, Filibuster Gobel. Yeah, there was a talker, boy. I remember, sit down, boy. I remember one time he stood on the floor of Congress and he talked for 5 solid days without stopping. Now think about that. Didn't close his mouth for 111 hours and 47 minutes.
He didn't even stop to eat?
No. Fortunately, he swallowed a few flies and that kept him going.
Gee, he doesn't sound like a very good congressman.
I want to tell you, if it weren't for him, they never would have passed Appropriation Bill 708.
708?
Yes.
What's that?
You don't know. Oh. Half-day school sessions have got to go. Appropriation Bill 708 was that memorable piece of legislation which provided $100,000 to buy toupees for bald eagles. Every time you see an eagle flying around that looks like Elvis Presley, you'd be proud of your great-granddad.
We will open the meeting with our pledge. I'm a beaver, you're a beaver, we are beavers all. If you are in trouble, simply give the beaver call. No matter what the danger, all you have to do is shout, and I will come a-running if my mother lets me out. Yay, beavers! Woo!
Yes, sir. Minutes of the last meeting of the Beverly Hills Beavers. The meeting was called to order, and the secretary called the roll. Timmy Warblum's excuse for being absent at the previous meeting was that his father told him he would have to stay at his grandmother's for a few days because his mother went to the hospital to buy a new baby. Timmy said there must have been a big sale because his mother came home with 2 of them. The meeting was adjourned at 7:30, and we all went home.
You've heard the minutes of the last meeting. Are there any corrections?
Yes, I was absent at the last meeting, and he didn't mention my name.
Oh, yes, that's right. You did miss the last meeting. Where were you?
I was in jail.
Jail?
Yeah, I got lost again.
You get lost every other day.
Sure. You go into the police station, tell them you're lost, cry a little, and they give you ice cream cones and everything.
I move that the minutes be approved as read. I second the motion. Is there any new business? Billy?
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Medford Payton. He just moved into my neighborhood, and he'd like to become a member of our club.
Medford, we're glad that you want to be in our club. Where are you from?
I'm from Texas.
Texas?
Capital of the United States, envy of the world, and jewel of the universe.
What kind of business is your father in?
My daddy's in the oil and cattle business.
Oil and cattle?
Yes, sir. My daddy happens to own 287 oil wells, 16,000 head of cattle, a house with 72 rooms, 7 cars, and 15 servants.
Why'd you move to Beverly Hills?
We wanted to rough it for a while.
Well, Medford, if you'll stay after the meeting is over, you can fill out an application for membership.
Application? I think you all missed the point. You fellas have to fill out the application. You see, I'm from Texas. You're joining me.
Well, Medford, if you'll sit down, we'll take up this question later. And now, members of the Beverly Hills Beavers, I think...
Kids, where are you?
Down here, Mr. Benny.
Okay, I'll be right with you.
Mr. Benny! Mr. Benny! The pledge.
Oh, the pledge. Oh, I forgot the pledge. I'm a beaver, you're a beaver. We are beavers all. If you are in trouble, simply give the beaver call. If there's any danger, all you have to do is shout, and I will come a-running if Rochester lets me out. Yay, Beaver! Was I elected president?
We haven't held the election yet, and we can't do that until all the old officers relinquish their previous positions. And, Mr. Benny, since you were the treasurer, now is the proper time for you to turn over the bank book, so we'll know how much money we have.
Oh, the bank book, yeah. I brought it. I knew I brought it from the house. Oh, here it is. Here's the bank book for the Beaver.
Wow! 18,467,000.
Whoa, wrong book. There's the one. There's the one.
$6.73. Gee, now it sounds like nothing.
I thought the first one sounded like nothing.
Wait a minute, who's he?
He's my friend Medford. He's from Texas. His father owns 287 oil wells and 16,000 head of cattle. He wants to join our club.
Oh.
Well, there's a difference of opinion on that.
Well, whatever it is, I'm with him.
And now, members of the Beverly Hills.
I'm sorry I'm late. I'm a beaver, you're a beaver. We are beavers all. If you are in trouble, simply give the beaver call. No matter what the danger, all you have to do is shout, and I will come a-running if my mother lets me out. Yay, beavers!
Let's get on with the voting. Huh?
Just a minute, Mr. Benny. I have a question about this election.
What is it?
Skinny Miller dropped out, and you're the only one running for president. I don't think that's fair.
Oh, yeah? Well, let me tell you something. If anybody's got nerve enough to run against me, I'll oppose them.
Okay. Come on in, Uncle George.
He's the Beaver's choice. Vote for Gobel,
He's not even a
vote for
member.
George. You can't do any voice. He'll make a darn good president. His platform is the top. So vote
Wait a
for
minute. Hey, George, wait a minute. Wait.
Stand back, hound dog, of which you ain't nothing but a.
what are you doing?
Came down here to keep this thing honest and funny. Oh, gorgeous Gobel for president.
Look,
All
you
have
can't
to do...
run for president until you become a member of this club, and that'll cost you a dime. Right, fellas?
Any of you... What are you doing?
Well, until I'm elected president, I'm still treasurer of the club.
Mr. President, before we get down to the voting, I would like to say a few words about my candidate, Mr. Benny.
Very well. Everett has the floor.
Fellow Beavers, I want you to know why my candidate deserves to get your vote. Mr. Benny is too modest to stand up here and tell you the many things he told me in confidence. As you know, Mr. Benny was born in Waukegan, where he went to grammar and high school.
True.
Then he went to the University of Illinois, where he played halfback on the football team, and for 3 years was an All-American. He would have been an All-American for 4 years, but he had to quit school to go into training for his first fight with Jack Dempsey.
Oh, come on.
Please, Mr. Gobel, please. Mr. Gobel, you'll get your chance to speak later.
And Mr. Benny is very glad the elections are being held at this time, because next week he has to leave for Melbourne, Australia, where he's going to swim in the Olympic Games.
I'm very good in salt water.
Very few people know this, but Mr. Benny once competed against Esther Williams. I feel that Mr. Benny
you
will
have
make
a
us a
pencil,
very good
please?
president because he believes that we should go on hard.
What are you doing?
And he also believes
I
that
speak
we should
next.
go
I'm making
above
some mental
ridiculous.
notes.
And it is because of these worthwhile accomplishments that I urge you to vote for my candidate, Mr. Benny.
Order, please. And now we will hear from Mr. Benny's worthy opponent, Mr. George Gobel.
Thank you, Mr. President, worthy opponent, and itty-bitty buddies. Usually when a person gets up to make a campaign talk, he tries to belittle his opponent, right? But I can't do that because I believe everything they said about Mr. Benny. It is true he was an All-American. As a matter of fact, one Saturday afternoon he made 7 touchdowns all by himself. He had to make them all by himself because the rest of his All-American team was in New Amsterdam selling Manhattan Island to the white men.
I object.
For the price they got, I knew you would.
Finish your speech and sit down.
Another thing, it was mentioned that Mr. Benny once competed with Esther Williams, and that is also true, but I want you to know that it was in a beauty contest.
Well, second ain't bad.
I will now conclude my speech with my campaign song. Vote for Gobel.
Please, Mr. Gobel, please, Mr. Gobel. Mr. Gobel. And now, members of the Beverly Hills Beavers, it is time to vote. And in true Democratic tradition, we will have a secret ballot. All those in favor of Mr. Jack Benny for president, say aye to yourself.
When they say secret, they mean secret.
And now, all those in favor of Mr. George Gobel for president, say aye to yourself. Give us the results, Stanley.
Mr. President, 4 members voted for Mr. Benny and 4 members voted for Mr. Gobel. Therefore, it's a tie.
Thank you, Stanley.
Stanley?
Stanley Dunninger. father for
Well,
downtown.
it looks, Jack, like the election is a tie.
It can't be a tie. I spend a fortune on lollipops. Now listen, I want a true, honest vote.
All right. All those in favor of Mr. Jack Benny for president, stand up and raise your hand. All those in favor of Mr. George Gobel for president, stand up and raise your hand.
There we go. Oh,
Since it's a tie, I nominate my uncle.
What?
All those in favor say aye. Come on in, Uncle Red.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, weren't those kids wonderful? You know, I love to have children on my show because they're uninhibited, you know, nothing bothers them, nothing worries them. So relaxed and everything, and they work for practically nothing. Had a little trouble with the president, but we ironed that out. But anyway, of course, you know, we have a problem when we have children on a show. And that is, you see, they still have to go to school. And so they have to have their schooling here, and we have to bring a school teacher here, and then every hour or so they have to leave and study, you see. And I think it's no more than right that you meet their school teacher who's been here with us. Miss Jensen, please. Feeling the kids will be back pretty soon. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to have you meet my guest star once again, Mr. Gobel. George! George!
Can you kind of hurry it up a little bit? I want to get back to school.
Listen, George, I do want to thank you very, very much for coming on my show.
Oh, well, thank you, Jack. You know, being a kind of a newcomer in this business, it's a real great thrill for me to be working in the same show with a performer who is known as being a real great, a master of comedy.
Oh.
Well, no, I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, working with someone that you've thought and known about, and it kind of gives me just a glow of pride.
Oh, George, now you're making me blush. You know?
Well, I don't see why, because I'm talking about Red Skelton. Come on down here, Red, old buddy, and shake hands. I want to tell you that all the things I was telling Jack out here, I really mean.
Well, thanks, George, and I want you to know that I never miss your program.
You know, I feel the same way about your show.
Well, you know, isn't it odd, though, that we two great comedians should meet on a dramatic show?
It's
Well, if those two gentlemen don't get to my sponsor right away, I will be back on the show 2 weeks from tonight. And next Sunday, be sure and watch Ann Southern. And incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to make an announcement. You know, for, 24 years or more, I was on radio. And then I dropped out for about a year. See? And so I'm very happy to announce tonight that starting next Sunday, my radio programs will be repeated on the CBS radio network. And that's next Sunday. And every Sunday thereafter. Thank you very much.
Well, hello again. This is Buck Benny speaking. I am joined by Kathy Fuller-Seeley and John Henderson from This Day
Hello.
in Jack Benny. So good to see
Oh,
you, John.
sorry, a little bit of advertising.
Yes.
Yeah,
In
there you
Jack
go.
Benny.
There you go.
Buck,
Yeah.
if you give me a shirt, I could.
Hey, John, how does it feel running the second best Jack Benny podcast out there? It's got to feel pretty good for you.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. How's it feel running the third best?
Oh! Who's on first? Wait a minute. That's not even the right comedian. That's Elvis, not Elvis and Costello. That's wrong. Abbott. Elvis. Where did Elvis come from?
Elvis Costello. Hey.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's calm it down. We have a unique episode to bring you of the Jack Benny Show, one we skipped because it wasn't like where I could get to it easily, and now someone found a version of it that's out there on that's now circulating on YouTube and things. So I thought we'd go ahead and share that and talk about it. It's also in the Jack Benny Lost Episodes collection. I think this is a different version of it than that. I think it's from somewhere else. All of them that I've seen, there's a bunch now that are from the lost episodes that are floating around, but all of them look like they're not actually taken from that set. They look like they have found another copy somewhere or whatever.
Yeah, you got a vague losses and things like that.
Yeah. So that's exciting. So anyway, we always like to bring a new Jack Benny to you. This one features the Beavers. I always like the episodes with the Beavers. It's fun. It's fun to see the kids. Sometimes certain kids have more trouble with their lines than other kids have with their lines. The best kids that he's got usually do better than Jack, and this one you'll see that a few times. So it's fun one to watch. And George Gobel is fantastic, and he's on this episode as well as a little bit of Red Skelton, which is nice too. And I love this is again why I like doing these at the end after the show, because the Red Skelton piece is a little bit of a spoiler on the episode, because you watch it and he shows up at the very end and you don't know that he's going to show up and things. I think for audiences it would have been exciting at the time if it hadn't gotten mentioned in the media that he was going to be on it, or you hadn't seen that. It would be a nice surprise. These days, anytime it's listed, it's listed as George Gobel and Red Skelton are the guests, and so you're expecting Red to show up sometime, and you can predict when he does show up. You're kind of like, oh, okay, they're building up to Red coming in, and he does. But anyway, let's go around and talk about what we think about this episode and whether it worked or didn't work. And I think I don't know. Kathy might know better than I do, or maybe John. I don't know. Were there many Beavers episodes? I'm thinking the Beavers at the Fair episode was really famous. Was the other one? Those are the two biggest that I know of. And then Beavers sometimes would be featured as a little section where you maybe as part of a bit, one of them would come out.
I follow the old truism: don't work with children or animals.
Yeah.
It is a lot more difficult to wrangle all these little kids together, and so it's much more rehearsal.
Well, as you do it live, you would think, because they were filming some at this point, you would think you would have filmed this episode, because then they could totally get the performance of the kids nailed down and everything. I believe the one at the fair was a filmed episode. And
if they did some special,
yeah, it had to be. Well, also it was filmed in color, so I mean that had to probably necessitate it being a filmed episode.
Yeah, I think they may have done the episode where the Beavers do the Jack Benny show. That's a classic.
Yeah, that is a classic, but I don't remember. I don't know if that one's in circulation. I have no doubt that they probably did it, but I don't know.
Well, I think I saw a photo from it. I don't think I've actually seen the episode, so they must have done it.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So anyway, let's check.
Harry Shearer himself only appeared on 3 TV episodes, all before this one: 53, 54, and 55. Okay. So he would be there to be a Beaver.
He might have been where they thought he was getting too old to do it. Yeah, because at some point, you're talking the rest of the Beavers, or they try and get him to look like they're 5 to 8, to 7, somewhere in there. And so he could have been 9 or 10 at that point and been like, okay, well, that's...
Yeah. Now, IMDb says that Harry Shearer is in this episode, but I don't think he is.
Right.
I was looking, I know what Harry Shearer looks like, and I don't think so. He looks similar to the main kid, and you could even say he has a similar kind of look to the Texas cowboy kid, but it's neither of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I say, I think he'd be a little older than anybody was in this episode at that point too. So I didn't think it was him either. I was looking, okay, every time we look for Harry Shearer, of course, Harry Shearer is famous for being a lot of the voices on The Simpsons, and he has his own podcast that competes with John and I, and so too bad. But, yeah, exactly. I hope he's happy with fourth best. Anyway, but it's fun to hear him talk about the Jack Benny Show and being on it, because he's one of the few. He's probably the only surviving person that was on radio shows and television shows. And, maybe there are a few more Beavers that are around too, because if anybody's alive, it'd be the Beavers, because they're the youngest.
Harry Shearer was also on Saturday Night Live for a brief time.
Yes, that is true. Like one season, just a couple seasons at most or something. But that's kind of cool too. Yeah. Anyway, John, what were your thoughts on this thing?
Well, I watched it late last night, and I rewatched the ending 3 or 4 times because I kept falling asleep. So I don't know whether that says something about the episode or where
I think it's just a reflection on you, John.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought it was fine. I would say this is one of those ones where it's like, if this is the first thing you ever see with Jack Benny, you're not going to get it. It's maybe not the highlight greatest thing, but it was fine. It was good.
Right. And I think it's hilarious because George Gobel's in this, and he talks about being the young new guy and all of that, which I think he was at this time. But we're used to George Gobel, at least I am used to George Gobel like in the 1970s, where he's been around for 20 years. He's a little bit like Red Buttons and that sort of thing, where he seems like old school performer, but then to see him in his heyday or whatever, then
Wikipedia says his show in the Gobel's show in the mid 50s was like a top 10 show.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So he was doing great, but again, not anything I ever saw in circulation or things like that.
No.
So
yeah,
I know mostly George from being in Hollywood Squares.
Interesting.
That's why I was going to say. That's why I've seen him too. It's Hollywood Squares. Yeah.
I feel like just being a Jack Benny fan is really where I see a lot of these these touchstone people or whatever, and it did seem like he had like a big jump when he first started out in the 50s, and people were talking about him and things like that, and then you didn't really hear about him much since. I watched this episode with my wife, and she rarely will sit and watch old stuff with me like this, and she'd never heard of George Gobel. I said I think he's kind of like a talk show host, like a late night talk show host, and she's like,
a bunch. So he did country songs and
oh, okay, yeah. Well, she said, well, I can see why you didn't take off. So she was not a fan. I do think, though, it's the kind of thing where if you see a performer in their prime, like when they're at their height of their career, from that point, you get it. And you can really appreciate a lot more of the things they do, like an appearance like this, where it's like, oh, I know George Gobel. He's doing his George Gobel thing. Whereas if you don't have that context, you don't quite get it. It's like, this is not the greatest actor I've ever seen in a sitcom.
No, I totally get that. Yeah.
I think you're very right that the appreciation of the episode would come from, oh, he's got this great show over here. How terrific that we're getting to see him. And, and the surprise appearance from another star, Red Skelton. I was very impressed that the biggest laughs from the live audience were when Jack and then Red came out in the Beavers outfit. So it was laughing at their shorts and little uniform shirts.
Yeah.
Than anything they actually did. So.
And I like the little Beaver pledge that they did multiple times, and each time it was a little different than the last time, and I thought that was fun.
Yeah, the thing I liked most about the episode was the fact that it was live. Like they're having fun. You sort of like little smirks, like maybe they're gonna break and things like that. And of course, my favorite part was the part where Jack Benny accuses the kid of not knowing his line, and then we find out it's Jack who missed his line. Just those live moments are great. Yeah.
Well, what I loved about that piece was that Jack thinks the kid forgets his line. First they pause forever, then he tells, "Don't you have a line?" or something. And then when finally he figures out he does have a line, and Rochester tries to help Jack out a little bit, and Jack says his line, the kids are pick right up on it, and they go with their lines and their bits. The older kid even like recovers some and adds to the performance by what he does. And so I'm like, it shows how professional these kids are. They were not going to screw up their lines. It was just, what are you going to do? Jack messes up his, and the kid's line was definitely reliant on Jack saying his. It was tied right into Jack's, so he couldn't go on without Jack saying his line, and so that was tricky. But anyway, Kathy, what were you going to say?
Well, to mention that this being about an election. The show actually aired like 2 weeks before the 1956 election. So, so for viewers back in the day, they would have said, "Oh, everybody's talking about elections right now, so no wonder to do this show." Then the script makes some marvelously obscure references when there's the one kid when they're voting and they have to vote silently, secretly, and then the one kid knows how many there were 4 votes for one and 4 votes for the other, and Jack says, "Oh, he's like the son of Dunninger." Takes you back to the old days and the radio episode where Dunninger was a theatrical magician who could read minds, and had an accomplice in the audience who would hold up, "What is this object? It's sort of inky and black," and Dunninger would say, "It must be a pen." And
No, I agree, and they did a few references to things on this episode that were other TV shows, other
Brian
things.
Dunleavy on Assignment, so that must have been a mid-50s show, and so
Yeah, what Dangerous Assignment is that's the name of a show, right?
Yes.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
I think I've heard of that.
It was kind of your Mission Impossible sort of show or whatever. So yeah.
And what you missed by being asleep, John, at the very end, very just interesting historically. So one line when Jack comes out for the coda at the curtain after the last commercial, and he's announcing with a kind of seriousness and a happiness and a nostalgia that he's saying CBS Radio is now going to be repeating some of my radio shows on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
And that just such an interesting sort of throwback to the fact that in 1956 there were still only half of America had TV sets in 1956. So there was still half of America across the Midwest and in northern New England who still didn't have access to television. And so bizarrely, to tell the TV audience that he's going to be back on radio, well, maybe you get a double dose of him. But
and that's what was so sad. Half the country would still be really into radio, and it's like, but they completely abandoned radio. I mean, it's just sad.
They used the profits from radio to start television.
Yes.
Network.
They fed on it, and it's like,
but whatever. So you didn't miss that much, but
no.
Well, there were some highlights from what I saw. Like, I thought it was hilarious when he's the treasurer or whatever, and he gets the bank book out, and it's his own bank book.
Yes.
And I wonder, like, what was Jack Benny's net worth? Like, did they make that up? Did they exaggerate it, or did he have $3 million?
$18 million.
$18 million.
$18 million.
Yeah. No, I don't. I really doubt he had $18 million, but you never know.
I doubt it, because Mary liked to spend it. So. And he didn't get good advice. He didn't get the advice to invest in things the way that Hope and Crosby and so many other people did.
Right.
So I blame Hilliard. I blame brother-in-law.
Yeah. But what else is? Oh, I wanted to talk just for a second because we never get to talk about this, and I don't think any of us really are specialists in this necessarily, because it's in a strange window of time. It's it is like Kathy brought up the radio show Best of Benny that ran for 2 years. I think what they did for the Best of Benny, as far as I know, is they grabbed only amongst the episodes that feature Bob Crosby. So they didn't grab
Oh.
the Phil Harris ones or anything. And
Oh yeah, no, it was just late mid 50s
yeah,
already.
right. But I'm just saying, if you were going to do it, if they said, okay, we're going to do a Best of Benny, what do we want to present? I would be tempted to go, let's go back to 19. Since we're going to go, they recently heard these anyway, especially if they're the 50% of the country that has radio and doesn't have television. They probably listened to the Jack Benny show and heard the recent ones. I would go, let's go back and get the Phil ones. Like, let's start at 45 and see. Maybe we can run this thing for 10 years and we can run for 45 to 55. Who knows?
On NBC, and they didn't have that recording capability.
Oh yeah.
So there are very practical reasons by things that CBS already owns.
Yeah.
They
so they could have grabbed.
Oh right.
They could have grabbed
yeah.
from 1949 on, because that's when he came to
if
CBS. So he could have grabbed a couple of the Phil years if they wanted to, but they couldn't
but
go
then
back.
They have to pay film money, So
Yeah.
again, they're doing this because, as I said, there is still an audience left for radio, but it's really shrunk to about 3 million.
Yeah.
So by continuing this old tradition of Jack Benny on Sunday nights, but as I said, it's.
So how do the rights work? Like, if they couldn't have done, is it that they wouldn't have, or that they literally couldn't?
I couldn't, because the shows would actually be owned by Lucky Strike. They wouldn't be owned by CBS. So this is still
really?
when Lucky Strike paid all that money and produced the show. So,
but if Lucky Strike, if Lucky Strike owned it,
right.
Lucky Strike becomes the sponsor in like 44 or something like that. So they could have theoretically, perhaps from Lucky Strike's point of view, had the CBS years that they would have played, or the I'm sorry, the NBC years. But the problem would be, I can't believe they could take something that was done on another network and bring it across.
Oh no, they hated each other so much.
Yeah.
They were trying to put each other out of business. So.
But it makes total sense they could have done that, like I say, 49.
If you think these shows are done in 55, or would that be?
What was that?
I'm saying, do you know what years these shows were being broadcast? I guess Jack's talking fall of 56.
Yeah.
56.
It was 56 through 57.
57.
So it was the years. It was the season right after Jack went off the air. They started doing Best of Benny for the next 2 years. They do that. Then they take off Best of Benny and replace it with Stan Freberg's show,
which doesn't last too long either.
What was that?
Yeah. That show doesn't last too long either.
No. I think it lasted half a season or something.
Right. I was just looking in Laura's whatever.
Yeah. But and it's interesting to know that they, because I don't know how sometimes synergy or whatever, you bump into things. I bumped into something talking about it for the first time in ages about those episodes, and it was saying how Dawn recorded new commercials because they got a sponsor, so the sponsor's a different sponsor, and that they so there's new commercials and there's a new intro on every episode done by Dawn to bring on the episode. There was on these. I don't know if it's all of them or if he just started doing that, because he could have done that for a dozen episodes, and they said, we don't need to do that anymore and pay Dawn any more money, because they didn't want to pay anything if they could avoid it, right? So they're not gonna let's pay some money to like I say, maybe fill out a contract that they would have had to pay him, and so then they didn't show Phil's shows. But
I agree, it's you can't really call it the best of Benny when it's the best of the last 2 years of Benny.
Yeah, exactly. The best of the last 2 or 3 years of Benny. It's like, okay, these are shows you recently heard, but I mean, it's still Benny was great. I loved it throughout, so that was fine. But I mean, truly, if I'm looking at the best of Benny, it's to me, it's 40 something,
Yeah.
45
Although I will say, in those last couple
51.
years, they were doing a lot of reruns where they would take old scripts
Oh yeah,
and just redo them. So in that sense, you could say it's the best of Benny.
Well, we were talking. I just aired, of course, the Easter episodes, right? And that last Easter episode, it was done. I think the last one was done in the 52, 53, somewhere in there. And so they did this thing. And then the next year, the 53, 54 season, they grabbed it and they took the last two they did and combined them. So he has more like, because it's the on the avenue, as they're
Easter
walking
parade, yeah.
along, happy Easter to you, that Easter stroll thing. And what they did was they took all the Easter strolls from the two, put them together, so he runs into more people than he possibly are going to have in a single episode, and so it makes it fun. But then they aired that, like I say, and they did some little connecting bits to make it work, and then they took that whole thing and rebroadcast it the last year, so it was done twice in a row, the exact same show. And then before that, the previous 2 years, it was the exact same show. They just combined the two. So I mean, that's yeah, and it gets to be more like that. And I don't think there was ever a true final season shopping episode. I think the Christmas shopping was taken from the year before, one of the later years. So there was a lot of
returns, sadly. So.
Yeah, and the way they were filming episodes, where they were creating the episodes that last season, was they on a weekend do 2 or 3 episodes, and so they were all getting recorded like right on top of it. They were producing as many as they could, and they wouldn't, like, Bob Crosby wouldn't be available, so he wouldn't be in it. They'd have Malin Merrick being the band leader, which was different and all that, but and Mary was on very few of them that last season. But because they were interspersing them with these repeat episodes, it made it feel like, okay, everybody's kind of there and things. Like I say, I want to say Crosby was on at least one that season, but not a lot. He was maybe on a couple episodes or something. But
again, they had less and less money to work with.
Yeah.
He couldn't hire very many. So it's truly diminishing returns.
Yeah.
You're given about $5, and you got a couple pairs of scissors and some tape, and.
But they did a good job. They did what I would do, which was the ones that they did have, they would be rewritten. They would be new episodes, and they were like, well, let's get Ed out of the vault for the first time. Now, not saying it worked, but I would be like, yeah, let's write that. And then almost all of them were some sort of tip of the hat to something. Maybe it was the violin teacher, and they do more with the violin teacher than they had. And it was like a final curtain for all these different characters that they had and all these different scenarios. And so, and you could definitely feel it. It's like, oh, they've never done this before. Well, it's because they knew it was their last shot at it, their last time through. And so they decided to go ahead and do a little more pushing it. And they never acted like it was going to be the last season. I mean, they always talked like they were going to have more seasons, but certainly the way that the episodes they presented felt like, okay, this is the last one, and this is the last Ed episode, and the last, Anyway, it was, because right now we're, what are we? Since that last season, it was 55, so that puts it, was it 80 years ago then? 70 years ago. I think we're on the 70th anniversary of Jack's last season in radio. And so I've been presenting those all season long, and that's fun. We had, it was so funny because I had Roger Schulman reach out to me that last season that I was doing. And it just happened to be last season. He didn't ask anything about the last season, but he said he was interested in maybe doing some intros to episodes. And as I got to know him and realize, who Shulman was, it's like, so he was one of the main writers of Shrek, the original Shrek movie, and he did Alf, the Alf series back in the 80s, whatever. He was one of the main writers there. And then he's a lot of anything, if you've ever seen a Disney 2 something, it's probably written by Roger Shulman. Cinderella 2, all these follow-ups to these great classic films, which I don't envy him trying to write a follow-up to Lady and the Tramp or something. But but to have someone of that caliber that was willing to do the intros, they're hilarious. I mean, the intros we do, because this was before Zoom, at least before I knew about Zoom and how to do it. So I'll do an intro, a truncated one, because I knew he was coming on. And then I say, Jack, can you bring out Roger Chester? And then Jack comes on and goes, oh, Roger. And then, because he says Roger at some point, I found a place where he's going, hey, Roger. And then I grabbed the last part of Rochester, because he goes by Roger Chester is what he goes by as his thing. And so Jack Benny comes on and says, oh, Roger Chester. And then Roger Chester goes, oh, Roger Chester here. And then he goes into some amazing 5-10 minute little bit that he puts together loosely about the episode, but also about just Jack Benny in general, or California. I mean, he's got one where he says he's walking down, because he's like, I thought I'd do a location one. And so he's walking in front of like Jack Benny's house and talking about Jack Benny's house, and he talks about the street, and he talks about who lived where, and it's so much fun, and he does such a great job. And I really, like, I knew I couldn't have him all the time, and he was, he committed to maybe I'll do 3 or something, and I'm like, maybe I can stretch it, and we'll see what I can do. So I would, like, the episodes that were repeats, I would just do them myself. I wouldn't have him. But the episodes that were new, like the last Ed episode, the last all these different episodes, I would have him do, and then he could reference the fact that this was the last one, and what the vault episodes had meant for so many years and things. And so it's just lovely having him to go with me through that last season. And then I even had enough of him. He was willing to do enough that we did a couple that were from other seasons, or I think we did an episode of Suspense together, and various things. But really, where I tried to use him was on that last season, and it makes, every time it plays and we replay it, I get so many compliments about having him on there. It's just it's nice. He does a really good.
And that's why you've
he's
got
a writer,
the
not like
Jack
John and
Benny
I, where we're
podcast.
not writers. Anyway, John, you were gonna say?
No, I was just gonna rib you. I was gonna say that's why you got the #3 Jack Benny podcast in the world.
That's
and
right.
the #1 Jack Benny YouTube channel for sure.
There you go. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Anyway, fun doing these. I'm so glad we found this old one. I'm finding a few that we've like missed or skipped, or that what's lovely is so many of them fit with where we're headed. And so we're going to be able to do more episodes than we were going to be able to do, which is charming. So like for one that we just did recently was the President Truman, the Truman episode that I didn't know if we were ever going to be able to present. And then all of a sudden there it is. And so now we can present that, and that's charming. I don't know if I mentioned, but this is 2025, and this is a new one. I think we're recording this on Saturday. What's the day? The 26th, right? 26th. Yeah, of March. Yeah. And April. It's time flies, right? So anyways, 26th April. And I'm planning on airing it tomorrow. So folks will get, since it's out of sequence and it's one of the older ones, we'll air this one tomorrow. And so this is what we look like today. Isn't that amazing? Because so often they're seeing us, all of a sudden we're like from 5 years ago, and then all of a sudden it's from, a year and a half ago. We bounce. We did them so piecemeal for a while, and then I grab those and skip those and don't have us do those. Then we do the new ones, and then it's like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But man, it's fun to do these. And I adore the fact that you guys come back most every week. I mean, every few weeks, whatever. And we get together so often and can do these, and that we've done so many. I mean, we are right at the end. The ones that we're airing are right at the end of the night. I think we just finished the 9th season. We're about ready to start the 10th season. I'm trying to debate, do we play them the 10th season, or do I go right into the summer shows here and do the specials and things? I don't know. I'll figure that out, what we're gonna do, because I don't think I can make it through the 10th season. I think we get like part of the way through, and then I have to break it for the summer, and then we come back. And so I'm thinking maybe we just end with the 9th season, do the specials, and then once we run out of specials, come back and start doing the 10th season. I don't know. We'll figure.
When we come back to the 10th season, we got to do the Pasadena fan club.
Yes.
That I think neither of you liked, but
yeah. Well, we did that one, right?
No, we skipped it. We ran out of gas.
Oh, okay. So we got to get back and do that one. Okay, that's good. Well, and the other piece, the other reason we got to do is I never get anybody telling us to do an episode or asking or requesting one, right? I mean, because we do so many, and they can't. I don't expect them to follow along with where we're at or anything. I actually had someone request that episode, that they said, "Oh, I so want to have you guys introduce that episode," and I'm like, I would not expect that would be an episode that someone would be requesting us to do. So we definitely have to do that one now for sure. There you go. It's Kathy using a different username. Anyway, all right. Well, enjoy everybody, and we'll see you guys next time.
Program were Barbara Pepper, Louis Lettieri, Billy Street, Dennis Pepper, Stevie Wooten, Bart Bradley, Gary Allen, Ricky Allen, Ronnie Anton, Mel Stevens, Scotty Morrow, Hugh Corcoran, and Rosemary Ace. Jack Benny's next television show will be in 2 weeks with his guest stars, Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman. This is Don Wilson saying good night.